Hi guys, welcome to today's tutorial. Today we'll be looking at top Post-UTME past questions compiled from different schools. Now, our first question says, a laborer is paid 5,400 naira per month. What is his salary in 1¾ years? Now, if we look at 1 year, for a year we have 12 months and he's paid 5,400 per month. That means in a year, for 1 year, his salary would be 12 times 5,400, which would give us 12 times 5,400. We'll be having 64,800. Now, the next part, we are looking at 3/4 of a year, 3/4 of 12. All right, since 12 months make a year, so 3/4 of 12 would be 3 times 3, 9 months. So for 9 months, his pay will become 12 times 9, which will give us 9 times 5,400. Since that's his pay for 1 month, that will be 9,000, 9 times 54, which will give us 48,600. So plus that of 1 year will become 64 plus 64,800 plus 48,600. That will give us 113,400 naira. So that will be his pay for the year, which is our option A. A boy buys a biscuit for 4 naira. Now his cost price is 4 naira and sells it for a profit of 20%. Profit, his percentage profit is 20%. Now, it says find the actual price and the selling price. So what we are looking for here is the profit and the selling price. And we know that profit equals selling price minus cost price. And percentage profit would be our selling price, so that would be our profit all over cost price times 100 over 1. Now, in this case, our profit would be this. So 20%, which is the percentage profit, would be selling price minus cost price, which is 4, all over our cost price, which is 4, times 100 over 1. Now, cross multiplying, this gives us 20 times 4 will give us 80 equals 100 times selling price will give us 100 selling price. 100 times selling price minus 4 times 100 will give us 400. Okay, now bringing our like terms together, 400 minus 400 going over will give us plus 400. So this becomes 400 plus 80 equals 100 times selling price. So 480 equals 100 times selling price. So therefore, our selling price would be 480 divided by 100, which will give us 4 naira 80 kobo. So our selling price is 4 naira 80 kobo. Now, to find the profit, we come back to this formula of profit equals selling price minus cost price, which will now give us our selling price will be 4 naira 80 kobo minus 4 naira, which will give us 80 kobo. So his profit is 80 kobo and his selling price is 4 naira 80 kobo, which is our option C. Our next question says, a man buys recharge card for 500 naira. He sells it for 430 naira. What is the percentage loss? Now, for us to calculate percentage loss, we'll be having it as loss all over cost price times 100 over 1. And we know for us to find loss, we have loss as cost price minus selling price. Okay, now in this case, our cost price is 500 naira and our selling price is 430. Okay, so our loss would be 500 minus 430, which will give us 70. So he lost 70 naira in selling the recharge card for 430 naira. So our percentage loss would be 70 all over 500, which is the cost price, times 100 over 1. So cancelling this, 5 here 1, 5 here 2. So our percentage loss will be 7 times 2, which will give us 14%. So his percentage loss is 14%, which is option C. A bricklayer is paid 1,000 naira for 5 days work. What is his pay for 22 days work? Now, for 5 days, he's paid 1,000 naira. Now, what would be his pay for 1 day? For 1 day will be 1,000 divided by 5, which will give us 200. So he's paid 200 naira for a day's work. So for 22 days, he would get 22 times 200, which will give us 4,400 naira for 22 days, which is option C. If the total sales for a bag shop in a certain year were 150,000, what were sales in July if July sales were half the monthly average? Now, for the total sales in a year, for 1 year sales, he made 150,000. And we know that there are 12 months in a year. So for 12 months, he made 150,000. So 1 month would be 150,000 divided by 12, which would be averagely in a month he'll be making 12,500 in a month. All right. Now, our next line of statement says, what were sales in July if the July sales were half the monthly average? Now, our monthly average is 12,500. So for July sales, which is half of our monthly average, half of monthly average would be half times 12,500 over 1. So this will give us 6,250. So our July sales for July, he made 6,250 naira, which is option A. At a basket match, Roland was sitting in seat 356. Roland and Peter on the right of Roland. Now, towards his right, let's do this as our right and left. Now, Peter towards his right sat on seat 355. This is Peter. Okay. Now, Samuel on the left of Roland. Samuel was on the left of Roland, and this is 357. Okay. And Samson on the left of Samuel. So this would be Samuel and Samson 358 on the left of Roland, on the left of Samuel. So which seat is Samson sitting on? So Samson was sitting on 358, which is the option C. While preparing for the post-JAMB aptitude test, Felix read through pages 35 to 78 and pages 102 to 127. Now, of an English textbook, how many pages did he read altogether? Now, to get the number of pages, we will do 78 minus 35 plus 1. All right, and this we will do 127 minus 102 plus 1. So this will give us 78 minus 35, 43 plus 1 will give us 44. And this other one will give us 127 minus 102 plus 1. That gives us 26. So if we add these two together, we'll be having 70 pages. So Felix read a total of 70 pages. That is option B. How many numbers between 1 and 60 begins or ends with 5? Now, let's look at those that begins with 5. Begins with 5. All right? Now, we said we have between 1 and 60. So our first number will be 5, then 15, or rather ends with 5. Okay, let's do ends with 5. We have 5, 15, 25, 35, 45, and 55. All right, now begins with 5 would be 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, and 59. Now, in these two, we have a 55 common to both. So it's like an intersection in both of them. So when we want to calculate the total numbers that begins with 5 and ends with 5 between 1 to 60, we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Notice I'm not counting 55 again because I've counted it here. So our total number that begins with or ends with 5 between 1 to 60 would be 15, which is our option C. If 15 cans of food are needed for 7 adults for 2 days, now we have 15 cans, 7 adults, 2 days. All right, now the number of cans needed to feed 4 adults for 7 days would be, now, so for 1 can, all right, let's do 1 can. 1 can would be, if 15 cans feed 7 adults for 2 days, all right, that means for 1 day, okay, 1 day, for 1 day would be 7.5, 7.5 cans. That's 7.5 cans for the 7 adults. Okay, so that means 1 adult would be having, let's say, 15 over 14 cans. All right, 1 adult will be having 15 over 14 cans of food. So when we talk about feeding 4 adults for 7 days, okay, now this will become 4 adults for 7 days would become 4 times 7, which is 28. Okay, 4 times 7 will give us 28. So multiply by the number of cans for 1 adult. This will become 28 times 15 over 14. So 14 here 1, 14 here 2. So we would have 15 times 2 would give us 30 cans. So 30 cans will be needed to feed 4 adults for 7 days, which is our option D. 2/3 of a class passed English language as a subject. The number of students who failed English language would be, now, if 2/3 of a class, the class the entire class is assumed to be 1. So the entire class is assumed to be 1, and 2/3 of the class, 2/3 of class passed. Okay? Now, for those that failed would be the entire class, 1 minus those that passed, 2/3. Now, if we do our LCM, we would have 3. 3 minus 2 will give us 1/3. So therefore, 1/3 of the class failed the English language test, which is option A. At 10% discount, an item valued at 45,000 now costs. Now, for us to have 10% discount, okay, that means we are having 10% out of the original price. So our 10% discount will be 10/100 times 45/1. So cancelling our zeros, we would have 10 times 450, which would be 4,500. So our 10% discount will be 4,500. Now, discount is the amount being removed or deducted from the original amount. So for us to find the amount paid now, the new cost will become 45,000 minus our discount, which is 45. That will give us 40,500 as the new cost. So the new cost will become 40,500, which is option B. On a road map, a line segment of 4 inches long represents a distance of 12 miles. So we have 4 inches equals 12 miles. Now, how many miles long is 4.5 inches? Now, either we go 4.5 inches direct and cross multiply, or we do find our 1 inch. 1 inch equals 12/4, which gives us 3 miles. So 1 inch would be equal to 3 miles. So our 4.5 inches, all right, will be 4.5 times 3, okay, which gives us 4.5 times 3 will give us 13.5 miles. All right, or we can find half of our 1 inch would be, half of 1 inch will be 0.5. Our 0.5 inch would give us 1.5 miles. Okay, so 4 miles is already 12 inches. So 4 miles equals 12, 4 inches, sorry, equals 12 miles. Now adding this up, 12 plus 1 will give us 13.5 miles. So our answer will be 13.5 miles, which is option B. The breadth and length of a rectangle are L and L2L respectively. That means we have our breadth as L and length as 2L. Okay. Now, what is the perimeter of the rectangle? Now, for perimeter is distance round an object. All right. Now, for this rectangle, we have our length as L, our breadth as L, and our length as 2L. So this will be L and 2L. So for perimeter, we are going to have it as L plus 2L plus L plus 2L, which is going to give us 3L plus 3L. That will give us 6L. So for our perimeter, we are having it as 6L, which is our option D. What is 0.005 kilograms to grams? 0.005 kilograms to grams. Now, we know that 1,000 grams would give us 1 kilogram. All right? So, for 0.005 kilograms, 0.005 kilograms cross multiply will be 0.005 times 1,000, which will give us 0.005 times 1,000 would give us 5 grams. So 5 grams equals 0.005 kilograms. So our answer will be D. What is the value of DCXL? Now, our D is 500, our C is 100, then we know that X is 10, and L is 50. But now, since X is before L, this will give us, since we have XL, this will be 50 minus 10, that will give us 40. Okay, so for this, you're having it as 500 plus 100 plus XL will be 40. Okay, so this will give us 640 as our answer. So DCXL equals 640, which is option A. A hexagonal kite has dash sides. Now we know that for a hexagon is a polygon with 6 sides. So a hexagonal kite has 6 sides. That will be option B. The following are true concerning a trapezium except, so it simply means which of this statement isn't true about a trapezium. Now A, it does not have any line of symmetry. All the sides are of different lengths. All the angles are of different sizes. It has 2 angles equal, but others different. So for a trapezium, the following are true concerning a trapezium except it has 2 angles equal, but others different. A man bought 100 eggs at 1,500 naira. 10 eggs were damaged. He sold the rest at 20 naira each. Calculate the percentage profit made. Now, it says a man bought 100 eggs at 1,500. All right. Out of this 100, 10 were damaged. So 10 eggs damaged. Now, so 100 minus 10, we have 90 eggs left. Now, for each of these 90 eggs, he sold at 20 naira. So for the cost of the selling price of the 90 eggs, selling price of 90 eggs would be 90 times 20, which will give us 1,800. So he made 1,800 from selling the eggs. Now, for us to know the percentage profit, our profit is selling price minus cost price. Now, our selling price is 1,008 minus cost price, which is 15. So our profit will be 300. Now, he made a profit of 300. Now, for us to find percentage profit, our percentage profit is profit all over cost price times 100 over 1. Our profit is 300. Our cost price is 15 times 100 over 1. 3 here 1. 3 into 15, 5. 5 here 1. 5 into 100, 20. So he made 20%. His percentage profit would be 20%, which is option C. Obtain the missing number in the following sequence. We have 2, 3, 5, 8, dash, 17, 23, and 30. Now, let's look at those sequence. Now, if we have 3 minus 2 is 1, 5 minus 3 will give us 2, 8 minus 5 would give us 3. Let's call this x. X minus 8, we don't know, and 17 minus x, we do not know, but 23 minus 17 would give us 6, and 30 minus 23 would give us 7. Now, if we look at this, we'll notice that it's an increasing order. So we have 1, 2, 3. So we can logically say this should be 4, 5, 6, and 7. So if we have this, filling up this as 4 and 5, all right, we can now find our missing value. If we have x minus 8 equals 4, so that means x equals 4 plus 8, which is 12. All right, now let's look at this. If we have 17 minus x equals 5, okay, so this will become 17 minus 5 equals x. Remember, if we have negative going over, it becomes positive, and positive going over becomes negative. So 17 minus 5 will give us x equals 12. So you can see that from both equations, our x is 12. So the missing number, our value here missing will be 12, which is option B. A retailer sells at a discount of 15% of the marked price. If a customer pays 16,700 for an item, what is the marked price of the item? Now, if he's selling out a 15% discount, that means the cost price will be 85% of the marked price. All right. So if he's paying for 85%, he's paying 16,700. Okay. For 85%, he's paying 16,700. So we need to find the cost of the price when it's 100%. Okay. So for us to find this, we can do 16,700 times 100 divided by 85. Okay, we can do 16,700 times 100 divided by 85, which will give us 19,647, okay, approximately 19,650 as the cost price. Or we can change this to be 0.85 times 16,000. We can turn this to be 0.85 times the marked price to get same value of 19,647, approximately 19,650. So our answer will be 19,650, which is option A. Given that G is directly proportional to the square of H, now we have G is directly proportional to the square of H. If G is 5 and H is 3, find H when G is 100. Now, first off, we need to find our constant of proportionality in this equation, we have G is directly proportional to H squared, and including our constant of proportionality, this becomes G equals H K, okay? H squared K. Now, our G is 5. That means 5 equals H squared, which is 3 squared K. Now, 3 squared is 9. So this becomes K equals 5 over 9. Now, that's the value of our K, which acts as our constant of proportionality. Now, back to our relation, G equals 5 over 9, which is K, times H squared. Okay, now it says when G is 100, we should find H. So when G is 100, 100 equals 5 over 9 H squared. Okay, now cross multiplying, this gives us 900 equals 5H squared. Okay, so our H squared equals 900 over 5, which gives us 180. So our H squared will be 180. So the value of our H squared will be 180, which is option C. A rancher plans to add a post between every 2 posts of an open-ended straight fence. If he currently has 10 posts in the fence, how many does he need to insert? Okay, now if in between the 10 already existing posts, the space between the 10 already existing posts are 9 spaces. So that means he needs to insert an extra 9. He needs to insert an extra 9 posts in the fence. So our answer will be B. If you were to add all odd numbers between 1 and 11, both inclusive, the result would be, all right, we have all odd numbers between 1 and 11. We have 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. All right, so we are to add all these odd numbers. This and this will give us 10. This and this will give us another 10. So we have this as 20 plus 11 plus 5, which will give us 36. So if we add all the odd numbers between 1 and 11 inclusive, our result will be even, which will be option A. Which is the next number in the series? We have 18, 13, 9, 6, 4. All right, now let's look at the difference. We have 18 minus 13 would give us 5. 13 minus 9 would give us 4. 9 minus 6 would give us 3. 6 minus 4 would give us 2. And 4 minus dash or x will give us 1. Since it's decreasing by 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So for us to find x will become 4 minus 1 equals x. So therefore, x equals 3. So our next number in the sequence would be 3, which is option C. With this, we've come to the end of today's tutorial. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click on the notification button for more updates. If there'll be any questions or comments, put them down in the comment section below. Thank you.
Hi, I'm sure you enjoyed the video you've just watched. To see more of this kind of content across all examinations, including WAEC, JAMB, JUPEP, GACAO, NEET, SAT, IELT, literally up to 100 exams, make sure you hit the subscribe button and check the channels for all of these videos and tutorials.